Hi, I'm Jennifer Moxley, founder and CEO of Sunshine Media Network. And a common question that's been circulating recently is, how do I answer a question during an interview when I don't know the answer? Well, media training is the first thing I'm going to recommend if you have that concern. But not everybody can afford media training right now, and for some of you, you still need some convincing that you actually need media training. So here's a few tips. First and foremost, anytime one of our clients is going into an interview, we always ask them to categorize the interview as friendly or unfriendly. A friendly interview includes, hey, we're talking about the tax rate going up in your county and wanted to talk to you as a small business owner. Well, that small business owner is not in the hot seat. They're only weighing in about something external that affects their company internally. An unfriendly interview could be something like, we're investigating the life coaching industry, and we want to talk to you as a life coach about your certifications and the process that you went through and how people can hire a good life coach. Well, that could be a little contentious because you're not really sure if they're interviewing you about your business or if they're investigating your business or if they're lumping you into the category of life coaches being scammers, right? So you want to go into that interview a little bit more prepared than if you're just a man on the street, or as they say, MOS, weighing in on something external to your business or your industry. Okay, so now that you've categorized it friendly or unfriendly, we're going to look at the friendly interviews. A reporter is not going to ask you a question that you don't know the answer to in hopes of making you look foolish. Because if you look foolish, then they look foolish for interviewing you for their story. Reporters want their stories to be solid. They want their stories to be informative, and they want to look good to their viewers and be trustworthy to their viewers by interviewing the best experts. So calm down. If a reporter asks you a question that you don't know the answer to in an interview, it could be innocent. They may just be following the pathway of their own curiosities. They could be asking questions that other people in their newsrooms have told them to ask. They could be asking something they're just curious about and wonder if you know the answer for future story ideas. Remember, news reporters have to have multiple story ideas a day, and sometimes when they're interviewing you, they're actually thinking of other story ideas down the road that they can pitch and develop to their bosses. Now let's take a look at the unfriendly interviews when you don't know the answer. In media training, you should always be ambushed by your trainer with every possible question in the book, from positive questions to super negative questions to really terrifying questions. If you can't be comfortable in a one-on-one situation with the person you've hired to prepare you, how in the world could you go out there and face a journalist? The person who the pen is mightier than the sword, that industry. You should never face a reporter if you are not fully confident in every possible scenario that could come your way and with your answers to those questions. Now, let's say you're not prepared. Here are some recommendations that I would give if you are on the spot. That's a great question. That's not under my purview, but I'll find the person it is and I'll give you their information. That is a great question. I don't have that information available to me, but I can get it and make sure that you have it. That's a great question. That's not something that would be in my department, but I can find the person that you need to speak to. Sometimes you don't want to affirm that something was a good question, and so say something innocuous. Interesting question. I'll make sure I get that information and I'll give that to you. Interesting question. That's not under my responsibility, but I'll find the person who it is and I'll make sure I put them in contact with you. I think the end goal whenever you are in an unfriendly interview and you're asked a question you don't know the answer to is not give any information in your answer. However, that is different from no comment. No comment is a comment, and that leaves a lot of interpretation open to the journalist and the public. Very similar to pleading the fifth. Yeah, you absolutely can do it, but we all know why you did. So, no comment is not something Sunshine Media Network ever recommends our clients use. We always want to say something. We want to satisfy the journalist and let them know that you hear them, you recognize their question, you're validating they have a right to ask that question, but you're also not feeding any information that you don't want to let loose. Again, This is just to give you an idea of what you should do. We always recommend media training from a professional, no matter how big or small your business is, no matter how big or small the outlet is, because we have seen time and time again that little interview that you don't think is going to matter is the one that you really regret.